Hey there YouTube fans, AC Productions here, and today I'm going to be showing you on how to install these Denali auxiliary lights by the fairings. So they'll be located one here and one here on both sides. So now if you're wondering why I'm adding more lights to my bike, this is actually for those of you who wanted to install auxiliary lights for extra lighting, but not in the location where I had previously installed mine. If you saw the video on how to install these lights here. So this is just showing you on a different location for you to install these type of lights on the bike. All right, so let's get started and let me show you what tools that you're gonna need to use to do this installation. Okay, so it may look like a lot of tools that we're gonna be using here, but pretty much every tool has its function on what we're gonna be doing. So don't let a bunch of these tools actually deter you from doing this installation. So let's start from over to the side over here and work our way over. Good idea to have a headlight like this one right over here. Put on pretty much, it goes on top of your head and it helps you illuminate the area you're working on, which I find to come in handy quite a lot. Next will be double-sided extra strength tape, ratchet extension with a 10mm socket, 8mm socket, thread lock, Phillips screwdriver, X-Acto knife with a fresh blade, a handle with a 4mm Allen key, zip ties, scissors, isopropyl alcohol, shop towel, and then these are going to be the extension bolts that we're going to be using with these two spacers. Now for the sizes of these bolts, here they are, and then here's the sizes for those two spacers. Now right now they are white, but I'm actually going to paint them black. Not in this video. I'm just going to do that off camera and at some other time. So I didn't get a chance to spray paint them before doing this video. Alright, so let's actually get started on installing these lights. And oh yeah, an optional also will be if you do have one of these blankets, shop blankets, come in handy so that way you don't get your knees or whatnot dirty from the ground. And also if you fold it a few times, it actually is pretty soft on your knees. All right, so let's get started on installing these auxiliary lights. Okay, so first things first, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and remove your screw on both sides, one on this side and one on the opposite side. It's going to be with a 4mm Allen key. So let's go ahead and remove that screw out of there. Okay, now with the bolt out of there, I put the camera towards this bottom area so you guys can see what I'm doing over here. Now you're going to notice that these LED auxiliary lights are going to come with this bracket. We're not going to be using this bracket for this particular installation, so what we're going to do is we are going to use the little spacers in there. If you could see them, they have like little teeth on them. So we're going to go ahead and remove this bolt, but do take those little spacers out because we are going to use them for this installation. So let's go ahead and remove that bolt out, take out the screw, but make sure that you catch those little spacers because they are going to slide out, fall out once you get the bolt out. Okay. Once you catch those, put that little bracket to the side. You can put the light to the side. Now here, and you can put this bolt. We're not going to be using that. Now here's the two little spacers that I'm talking about. As you can see, they are with the little teeth on it. So that's going to come in handy for this next part. All right, so let's put that off to the side for now. Okay, so now we are going to grab our LED lighting. I'm going to separate them. Make sure you remove that bracket for both of the LEDs. And also don't forget to let's go ahead and cut the zip ties that are holding the cables. Make sure you're careful and not clipping the cable itself. So go ahead and remove that. Go ahead and clip this one too. And then like I said, I've already done it for this one, but I just wanted to show you on the other one on those spacers. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this bolt as well and capture those little spacers with the teeth on it. Alrighty, so now that I already got both of these extended out, it doesn't matter on what side goes where. It doesn't matter if this one goes there or that one. It doesn't really matter. Both the same. What I'm just doing is just trying to organize the wiring here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and grab this LED light. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to grab our long bolt, and then we're going to grab one of the little spacers with the teeth on it, slide it over the long bolt, grab your LED, go ahead and slide the bolt through the LED part right here. Then we're going to grab our spacer, put that in like so. Then lastly, we're going to grab our other spacer with little teeth on it. Now would be pretty much a good idea to put a little bit of thread lock on the threads here. Okay, you can see the thread lock on there. All right, so now let's go ahead and put the bolt onto the fairing here. All right, so just go ahead and slide it through. Just hand tighten it for now on getting the bolt in there. So the light's gonna fall. All right, so now that we got that hand tightened for now let's grab our 10mm socket with our ratchet. So here's our 10mm socket, our ratchet and our extension. Now we're not going to tighten this thing all the way till it's really hard or really tight. Just want to make sure that we have it where it is like so to just manage it. So just go ahead and tighten it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be, we're not going to do it extremely tight right now because we want to be able to adjust the angle of the light once we get to that part. All right, so you just want to pretty much have it like that where you don't have it hanging off like it was before, just enough to keep it in its spot. All right, so now that we have this side done, let's go ahead and do the other side, which is pretty much the same exact thing. And then you want to make sure that you grab your other LED light and just swing it from the back to get all the cabling from the back. Because if you do it from the front, you're going to have the abundance of wire hanging in the front, and you definitely don't want that. We want to make sure that all the wires are behind. So when you do it, make sure that you're careful on not scraping on your fairing. And then you reach the other side like this. Okay, on the other side, you want to go ahead and remove this bolt with the 4mm Allen key. Go ahead and do that. Okay, same thing like we did with the other side. So we want to go ahead, we're going to put this off to the side right now. For now, grab your long bolt, grab one of the little spacers with the teeth on it, slide that through, then grab your LED, put the bolt through, slide the spacer, and then put the other little spacer with the teeth on it through. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of thread lock on the threads. Okay, now that we got thread lock on there, let's go ahead and hand tighten the bolt through there. Okay, now that we have it hand tightened, and just like the other one, I did use my ratchet to go ahead and give it a little bit of a snug tight. Not all the way tight, like I said, we still need to adjust the up and down angle of the light. All right, so this is how it's looking so far. You got the LED, you got the spacer, which that's why we needed the spacer, just so we could give enough clearance so the light didn't hit the plastic side fairing. And same thing on this one, as you can see, spacing allowed it so it wouldn't hit the side fairing here, and to give us the availability and maneuverability of moving this light up and down. All right, so far it's looking good. Okay, so next, now that we got the lights installed over here, we want to grab our wires. We're going to go ahead and tuck them up over here underneath the fairing, and we're going to pull them out to the other side on the top over here. So let's go ahead and do that, and let me show you on how to neatly zip tie the cables alongside to get them up there. Okay, so first things we're going to do is we're going to grab our cable, which is right here, and then we're just going to go along our side of our shock and then put one zip tie to hold that cable in its spot. Might be a little tricky, but just to try to do the best you can. All right, so now that I grab it, just go ahead and cinch it down. Okay, so pretty much what I did is I put a zip tie down here, and then I put a zip tie over here. So what you do on one side, you want to make sure you do on exact same thing on the other side. Okay, so this next part is going to be just a little difficult to really show you, but you pretty much want to put your hand through here from the top part of the bike, and you want to grab all your wires that you have here and just pull it out through this area. Either this area or this other area, it really doesn't matter. But just make sure that you have enough slack in the wires to be able to turn your steering without pinching the cables or pulling on the cables from the LEDs that are right there. Okay, so I decided to pull the wires through this side just because I have a lot of wires already on this side going on. Like I said, it doesn't matter which way you do it, you do which way you prefer. All right, so next we're going to do after we get the wires through here is, remember as we did the two zip ties down there? So next we're going to put a zip tie on this part of the shocks, because that part is pretty much where it dampens when you're riding, and you definitely don't want it there. So this part, it will be the safer part to put the next zip tie. So as you can see, I'm not sure if you guys could see the cabling as I'm pulling on it. This is the one that's going to the LED, the auxiliary light on our fender. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull as much as I can. Don't pull too much because you definitely don't want to strain the wire, the cable. And then just go ahead and put a zip tie above this bracket right over here. I can zoom in a little bit. So on top of this bracket right here, just make sure you put the zip tie there, and that'll hold this part of the cable. So you want to make sure you do this both on this side and the other side. Okay, now that we already did that with the zip tie on the shock right here on both sides, so now we're left with the wires. So what we're going to do is we're going to zip tie these wires onto existing wires and kind of find a spot on the frame to zip tie and tidy up the wires here. So next we're going to do is we're going to remove this panel right over here. It's going to be a screw right over here, 4mm, this one here, this one over here, and then with your small Phillips screwdriver, we're going to be removing two small little panel screws, one right here and the other one which is right over here. So those two and these two on the outside, go ahead and remove this panel, and then I'll show you on how to neatly zip tie the cabling. And I almost forgot to mention, to remove just that one panel, you do need to remove, you probably could get away with just removing the one screw here, pulling this back, and then you're going to notice another panel screw right here with your Phillips screwdriver. Go ahead and pull that out, and then go ahead and remove that piece. Then you can finally remove this piece over here. Okay, now that we got that panel removed, now we're going to grab our cables, and I would say just pretty much just zip tie them to this bunch bunch of cabling over here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fold this one over, and then just go ahead and put a zip tie here. That'll hold that bunch, and then you can go ahead and put some zip ties on the frame. Not sure where my light's going here. I do have the headlight on my head, and it's just moving around. All right, so just go ahead and zip tie your cables over here in this bunch, and then let's see what we got here going on. I'll grab the rest of your cable in here. Let me go back a little bit with the camera so you guys can see the bunch of cables that this thing comes with. All right, so we got this part of the cable, and then this is the part that goes to the battery. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go alongside the frame with zip ties while you're zipping down on the cable right here. All right, so that part goes to the battery, and then you're gonna have this other cable here, and this one is to your switch. So we move that over, and then you also have your power cable, which will activate the lights or give power to the lights, and this is your switch right here. All right, so this is pretty much what I did with the wiring. As you can see, I have it over here, and then I did put all the cabling right over here against this other cabling. Also the white wire I have all the way over here because we are gonna connect it to our low beam wiring harness. And then this cable is the one that goes to the switch, and I decided to route it behind here because I'm gonna actually install this switch alongside our headlight stay frame bracket. So I decided to go behind the triple tree here, the shock or whatever, to the back through here. So route it through here, and then when I move it to this side, move the handlebars. So here is the switch, and I'm gonna actually mount it to the headlight stay bracket, which is right here. It has a nice flat surface right over there. So it's actually going to be around, I would say, here or so. And that's why we need the alcohol. The alcohol is going to actually clean the surface. We're going to go ahead and put some alcohol here and clean this area, and then alcohol and clean this area over here. Then I'm going to go ahead and put the double-sided tape on this side and go ahead and attach it like so. And that's pretty much where the switch, I'm going to have it located. Now it's up to you, and if you want to put the switch there, you could actually put the switch over here on the side or any other location where it's more convenient for you. These auxiliary lights do come with a handlebar mounting bracket, which is like a little U shape, and actually would attach to the switch. If you look underneath the switch area, you're going to see two holes, and that's going to be for handlebar mounting bracket, and that's where it'll attach to. And then you could actually have the switch like on top over here by your handlebars, either here on this side or on that side, whichever is more convenient for you. But for me, I'm going to actually put it over there because I obviously don't have any more room for any handlebar switches. This one I'm occupying with my four ways. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and push that over there. So that's that part, and then I have the wire running through here alongside the frame. Lots of zip ties going through here, over here, and now this is where I had some more wires, so I just kind of zip tied them over here. And now this is pretty much where we're at right now, and then up to here, and this is our leads for the battery. So next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove our main seat, our cover that's right here, and our passenger side seat. So let's go ahead and remove all that so we could get to our battery. Okay, so then for the wires for the positive and negative from the wire harness, I have it running through here, and then since I do have a different style tail end, I decided to push the cables through here, which in turn goes to this little pocket here, behind the bracket here, coming out through here, and then this is pretty much the positive and negative cable. So next I'm going to do is I'll probably route this positive cable behind this cable. Go ahead and remove your positive bolt and your negative bolt, and then slide the bolt through the eyelet of for the positive, slide the bolt through here, and then go ahead and attach it like so. Same thing with the negative, take out the bolt and then attach it through the inlet here, and then attach this onto the battery. And then at the same time, you want to make sure that you push your fuse away from anything that could actually touch it. So just make sure that you tuck the cables neatly and securely. Okay, now that I'm done putting the positive and the negative cables on, as you can see, I do have electrical tape on here, and the only reason I have this is because I do have an abundance of cables on my battery and I don't want any shorts to happen. So I put a little bit of electrical tape over all my connectors here and there. If you want to do the same, it's perfectly fine to do so. Better safe than sorry. All right, so now that we have everything already connected, now the next thing to do is just pretty much put the seating back on. So go ahead and put your main seat on, your cover that goes here in the center, and then your passenger seat on over here. So go ahead and do that, and at the same time, just to save a little bit of time on showing you guys, besides that, you can go ahead and then put your little triangle piece that goes here, and then I would say just that triangle piece. Not yet, actually. Don't put that piece in yet until we actually hook up the lights. So just for now, main seat panel here and your passenger seat for now. Okay, so now next that we finally put all the seat parts back on, going to go ahead and connect our white wire, which is our power wire, and let's go ahead and do that. So if you did the other type of headlights, all you do is just look for your low beam connector, which is right here. Obviously mine is not connected to the bulb because I had removed the bulbs and I have a different headlight set up. So if you do the same thing, the positive on this connector right there, if you look at the connector right here, the spot with the little hump right here is going to be the positive. The side with the flat part is going to be the negative. Zoom in a little bit more for you guys. Okay, right about there. So this part with the hump is the positive, and like I said, the other side that doesn't have the hump and it's just flat like that, that's negative. So let's go ahead and put our Plasti tap onto this side of the cable. So you're just going to have to pull back the sleeve, and here is our Plasti tap right here. So let's go ahead and unscrew the black part. Okay, so if you look at the black part, it has that little slit in the plastic. So what you want to do is you want to grab your cable and go ahead and slide this piece onto the cable. All right there. So as you can see, there's the Plasti tap, and as you can see, I already slid the cable right in that little notch area. So after that, what you're going to do is you're going to grab your Plasti tap here and go ahead and screw this piece onto that part right there. Now, say you didn't do that other style headlight and you still have this connected to your headlight bulb. So pretty much what you want to do to connect your white wire is to follow where the cabling goes, and it's going to go to a connector like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your connector, the little Plasti tap black part, to the positive cable on this connector, and it's the same thing. Then you're just going to go ahead and tap into that source. So let's go ahead and screw that Plasti tap in. Okay, now that we have our Plasti tap already connected to the wire there, now we're going to go ahead and turn on the bike. We're going to turn it on completely because we need to get the power, but then we're going to use the cutoff switch just to cut off the engine but still have power to the bike. Okay, as you can see, my gauge cluster is on. I use the cutoff switch to turn off the bike. So right now the system has power, and we're ready to go on turning on the auxiliary lights. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and press the button, and it's gonna turn on the system. So go ahead and look, and wow, those guys are actually really bright. Well, at least over here. When we go out to the alley, onto this dark road right here, which is pretty much the alley for me, we're gonna really see on how bright they actually illuminate and how far of a distance they illuminate. I'm really curious to see if they illuminate just as far as my other headlights that I have here, which is not really headlights, it's the same Denali but just a bigger LED diameter. These are the 1-inch ones, and the ones I have on over here are 2-inch. So I'm kind of curious to see if they have the same distance of illumination or if this one's a little bit shorter in the distance. That beeping you heard in the background, that's actually my tire pressure monitoring system letting me know that my front tire is low on air. Okay, so now that we know that the system works, you could go ahead and tuck away these cables. Next, we're going to grab our switch, which is right there. All right, so like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put some alcohol, clean this area with rubbing alcohol, and then put a piece of double-sided tape on this end, and then I'm going to go ahead and clean this area over here and go ahead and stick my switch right to this area. Okay, I've already installed my switch. As you can see, it's right there, and I believe that's actually a really good spot for the switch. And as you can see, I have my other switch for the other lights over here on the top, right over there. If I didn't have this bracket that I made previously, I would install it just like I did over here, but on the other side, which is a good surface for a switch. So both of those switches actually have that rubber boot on top of it, making it, it says waterproof, but I think it's more water resistant. Where I have these switches are located, it's kind of shielded a little bit from the rain, but if it were to get wet, I'll know, rest assured that the switch is not going to get damaged. Okay, now that I mount the switch already there, and the handlebars move really good, and there's no binding of cables, now we could go ahead and actually install our piece that goes here, our panel, and our triangle piece over here. So let's go ahead and do that. Now that you got your lights installed, but prefer a different light pattern, meaning that instead of the spotlight that it comes standard with the lights, it actually comes with lenses to deflect the light a little bit more. So these are the lenses that it comes with. You can see that there's like lines on here, and when you put them on these lights, it actually disperses the light a little bit more, so it's not so concentrated on one area. So this will kind of give you like a flood look. If you were to put both of these lenses on, like one on this side and one on the other side, it'll be a flood look. If you put only one lens on one side and keep the other one with a spotlight, it'll give you a hybrid look. And then obviously if you keep them both clear like it is already, it gives you the spotlight look. So when you install these, they come with a little notch here, so that way you only can install them in one way. So there's a notch here and a notch there, so when you put them on, they go in one way. All right, so now you want to know on how to install these type of lenses on the auxiliary light. Now to remove, what you need to do is you're going to have to remove this front part of the light to install this lens in there. Now to do so, you're going to have to remove 3 screws. There's one right over here, and one on the other side. Tool that you're going to need is going to be a 2.5 2.5 millimeter Allen key. If you don't have this particular style, you could also use an L-shape Allen key at 2.5 millimeters. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove these screws. And if you're not able to get to that screw, let's see, no, it's gonna be a little bit difficult now that it's on the fairing. What you're gonna need to do is loosen up the bolt as much as you can to see if you could get in there. If not, you're gonna have to completely remove the bolt to get the screw on the other side. Go ahead and do that. I just pretty much found it easier just to remove the whole LED off of the fairing. So now that we loosened up all those screws, go ahead and remove the cap gently. Let's go ahead and slide this out. And when you slide it out, this is pretty much how it looks like. It's just pretty much a cover. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is going to remove the stock lens that it comes with. Just make sure you put it off to the side and be careful not to drop it. Now I'm going to grab the diffuser lens, which is right here. Here's the diffuser lens, and I'm going to go ahead and install that in its place. It'll probably be easier to install it onto the cover here first and then put it onto the light. So just go ahead and drop that in there like so. Then go ahead and put the cap back on. Also make sure that it looks like, even though there's notches on the screen itself, there is nothing on the inside to actually put those notches in. So just make sure that when you put it in on the cover, since that first screw is on the top, make sure that your lens lines are straight, because if you put it in there it might be crooked. So just make sure that you put them straight according with the screw. So I guess those are probably just indication marks on the plastic, so you know where to line it up with the screw right there. So you could see that notch there corresponds with the screw bolt there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and then put that in. Make sure that all the screw bolts line up with the screws, and then go ahead and tighten down your bolts. Okay, now that you tighten down all the bolts, this is pretty much how it looks like. As you can see, now you can see the lines on here. So this is going to deflect the light, giving more disbursement of the light instead of being concentrated in one area and giving you the spotlight look. So at this point, you pretty much, if you want, just go ahead and experiment with the lenses just to optimize on lighting and to just have it set to your preference. So like I said, it comes with two of these lenses, so you could actually put only one on one side like this and keep the other one as a clear spotlight, or you could put both of these on and have them as a more flood look on the floor. Okay, now we are almost done with the install. We just need to adjust the headlights. If anything, if you do have a dark road where you live or whatnot, or if there's a dark road not too far, you may want to go there to really adjust your auxiliary lights. And the only adjustment we'll be able to do is an up and down angle. Alright, so go ahead and turn on the bike, and then I'm going to use the kill switch to turn off the engine but still have the running lights on. Okay, so right now I have the auxiliary lights on, and what you want to do is put your bike straight up or straight, and then just check the angle of the lights. As you can see, it's not really illuminating all that well, so I'm going to go ahead and angle the lights down. So what you want to do in this particular department is just to angle the lights that best suits your needs. So I think I have them pretty well right there, and let me put the bike straight. I think that works really well, actually. Right there, I think they're both centered for lighting. Not bad for these small little lights compared to the other lights I have, which I'll turn on right now in a second so you guys can see the difference. As you can see, those are the 2-inch lights, and then these are the 1-inch lights. So you could already see the difference of illumination, but not bad for these small lights. Definitely will give me a little extra lighting when driving down darker roads. Now once you do position them in a location desired and what works for you, you could go ahead and tighten down the bolt until the lights don't move at all. Alright guys, that pretty much concludes the end of this installation of how to install these Denali auxiliary lights in a different location, just to give you alternative on where to install these type of lights. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. If you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. That way you guys are up to date with my latest video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and thank you for watching.